Coming at you from the AO Studios, it's the Fade Route with D and Z. Here are your hosts, D and Z.
Powered by Riverside FM.
Coming at you live from the AO Studio.
Hey, yo.
It's the Fade Route with D and Z, I am D, and we've got a great show for you tonight. We're going to talk about Fanatics Fest, fantasy football, and also some college football. But we're beginning today's show with some baseball. The Braves just lost Austin Riley for the rest of the regular season with a broken hand. Braves just can't catch a break this year. Everybody's hurt. Started with Strider, then Acuna, then Albies, Riley, Michael Harris was out for a long time, and the list keeps going and going. So, Z, how does the Riley injury affect the second wild card spot in the National League?
Well, really, it doesn't affect the second wild card as much as it affects the third wild card. Because if you're looking at the wild card standings, San Diego's in at this point. Like, you got to think that San Diego is in. A whale's vagina. They are a good 4 games clear of the Braves. The Diamondbacks, who won a thing I like to call the National League pennant last year from a wild card position, they are 70-56. So they're 3 games clear of the Braves. So at this point, I'd like to congratulate the Padres and the Diamondbacks on securing your spots in October. Now it comes down to the Braves, who are just ravaged with injury. Yeah, well, not everybody else. Almost everybody else. And that's the infinite wisdom of Rob Manfred and his expansion of the playoffs. But it gives fan bases hope. And that's all you need sometimes. Think about it.
I thought all you need is love.
Nah.
Sometimes.
The Beatles said? That's what the Beatles said. But you know what? Love doesn't pay the rent. Only in certain professions. But unless you're Jordan. There you go. See? All you need is love. But the Braves, they are 66-58, ravaged by injuries. If you had Strider, if you had Acuna, if you had Albies, if you had Riley, if you had a full season of Harris, well, you know what they say about ifs. So, you got to deal with what's in front of you. They're being chased down by the Mets. Currently, the Mets are losing to the Orioles. You're looking at 1.5 game. They have a 1.5 game lead on the New York Mets. Behind them, you have the Giants. Behind them, you have the Cardinals and the Cubs and the Reds. And you could even throw in the Pirates and the Nationals, man. They're only, the Pirates have 58 wins and the Nationals have 56 wins. You get hot for a month and the other teams kind of like hold flat. You can start passing some of these teams. So
what about the Marlins? They got a shot.
No friggin'
Your
chance.
Expansion team?
Contract them both. 46-79. That is the Rockies and the Marlins. Mind you, the Rockies, I believe, without Chris Bryant, yet again. So, if Anthony Rendon is Tony Wage Theft, what the hell is Chris Bryant? But, the third wild card has created hope for about a dozen teams. So that's kind of where you are right now. And it also creates interesting questions. Like, think about the Pittsburgh Pirates for a second. They're on the periphery. They're not out, but they're not in. You have a rookie phenom in Paul Skeens, right? And he has the potential to be great. He also is running up against his innings limit. Every inning he pitches is the longest amount of innings he's ever pitched in his career. Do you shut him down and you live to fight another day? Or do you believe that you can kind of stay in this thing like you're Lou Brown and the Indians? So, it's a tough quandary. Every time we win, we peel a section. So do you do that? Or are you too far gone? The entire National League Central's in this fucking thing. Like, at the beginning of the year, who could have envisioned that? The Reds, maybe. The Cubs, maybe. The Cardinals on the periphery, sure. Like, we kind of had the
problem. The problem I have is none of these teams deserve to be in, though. What's the problem? The Braves don't deserve to be in the playoffs. I don't want to see them in the playoffs. I don't want to see them. They're terrible. They're awful. They're hurt. I don't want to see them play. I don't want to see the Mets. I'm seeing the Mets getting fucking destroyed by the O's right now. And the O's are a playoff team, and the Mets are not. I don't want to see it. I know the Mets won last night in a walk-off, and that's wonderful. But they're not. So you know they're not a playoff team. The Cardinals are trash. The Cubs are trash. The Reds are trash. These are trash teams. They should not be in the playoff. The teams that belong in the playoffs are the Padres and the Diamondbacks, because they earned it, because they play hard all year, they're healthy, and they're primed to take on a Philly team, a Dodger team, a Brewer team. So maybe, yeah, the Braves could get in, the Mets maybe, Giants probably, but I don't want to see either. I don't want to see it. I don't want to see them get. I don't want to see that trash. I don't want to see the Padres have to waste a player or waste a starter and play in one of these teams. I'm not in for it, man.
Yeah, you may not be in for it, but guess what? This is the situation that we're in because of the third wild card. Like there is a possibility that whoever makes it.
Do you want to see the Mets make the wild card?
Yeah.
Do you want to see that?
I want my team to do well. I always want my team to do well. So that's the situation. Are they in the position of the Chicago White Sox? No. They're a game and a half out of the playoffs. I want my team in the playoffs. I would rather my team be in the playoffs than be watching from the crib. So that's me. So you may disagree, and you have every right to disagree. But you know what? My team's in it. I'm not rooting against my team. I want my team to go as far as they possibly can. And if they don't get in, then they don't get in. But you know what? Because of the situation, and because last year a wild card team, I believe from the wild card 3, made it to the fucking World Series. It's possible.
And what did that look like? What did that look like? Did they look like they belong there?
It doesn't matter.
How did that play out?
They got there. Now, yes, the Texas Rangers beat them handily. They still got there. They knocked out the Phillies. They knocked out the Dodgers. They knocked out your supposed best teams. The Baltimore Orioles got picked off last year, and they were one of the best teams in baseball. You got to get in. You got to get hot. That's all it is. That's what baseball is now. Remember, the top 2 teams in each division, they don't play. So they're rusty. They're going to be rusty, and they're going to get picked off. Plain and simple. That is the structure now. It's not about the regular season. I hate to say that. The regular season doesn't matter anymore.
We got about 37. We got about 37 games left.
This is the sprint. This is it.
Yeah.
This is it. The
how
last
many
40
teams,
games of the season.
How many teams will win more than 95 games?
0.
Yeah. I think you're
0.
Right. I don't think you're going to have any. It's crazy.
You're going to have some that are close. Yeah, this is mediocrity disguised as excellence. You know, you like to talk about the Phillies, and they have a very potent offense. They can't pitch, dude. Like the Dodgers, they're not great either. The Yankees are meh.
Don't say they can't. They can pitch. Don't say they can't pitch. Their relievers aren't that great.
Yeah, they can't pitch.
They have good starters.
Ooh, whoop-de-doo. Eventually they come out. They don't go long. Zach Wheeler doesn't go long. Aaron Nola doesn't go long. Christopher Sanchez doesn't go long. Ranger Suarez doesn't go long. Eventually you get into the soft underbelly of that team, and that's how you end up with 51 losses. So there you go. But nobody is really primed to be a juggernaut. And, that's how the Astros ended up back in this thing, man. The Mariners kind of gagged it up. Now, granted, even the Mariners are still in the American League. They're 64 and 62. They're 6.5 out of the wild card spot. They're chasing the Twins.
Yeah,
so
it's gonna be a tough one for the Mariners.
But at least they've got the fallback, though. The Astros are only 60 and 56.
How about the Rays are still in it, man?
62 and 62, crazy. 500. Yep, dude. Like the seasons of the Royals, the Twins, the Guardians, and the Astros have been underreported. Very, very drastically underreport.
You want to talk about a team with no pitching? That's the Astros, man. I don't even know how they're doing this, but they're doing.
They're all on the IL. Yeah, well, JV was supposed to be coming back, but that's exactly what it is. It's smoke and mirrors and offense.
Smoke and mirrors.
Absolutely.
Well, listen,
but you know what? This is this is it, man. This is the summer. Like, this is the dog days of summer, and we're getting ready for that sprint.
Hey there, NFL football fans. This is the lovely Rita Sanchez, aka your option football champ for the 2023 NFL season. I'm inviting you to join us for the 2024 option, where we pick the winning teams for each week's matchups and compete against each other to see whose picks reign supreme. Are you in? Head over to CBS Sports and search for the Option 2024 League, or hit the link in the bio on the Fade Route socials and join today. It's for free. Pick a witty name, some winning teams, and I'll see you out there for week 1.
Well, I know basketball season is a few months away, but analysts are already predicting a resurgence from the Warriors and the Bucks. These conversations had me thinking, which title was more important in regards to legacy? Curry's chip in 2022 or Giannis' chip in 2021?
To me, this is a simple math lesson. Curry's chip in 22 is what, his 5th?
No,
the one...
No, he
what
got
was
4,
it?
right?
He's
He don't got
4th
as
or
many as
5th?
Curry.
Yeah.
Hold on. It's got to be 4. He doesn't have as many as Kobe, does he?
Well, let's look at it. But
yeah, Steph.
I can tell you this much, though. How many does Giannis have? 1.
One.
So which one is most important? The last one that Curry got, or the only one that Giannis got? I have to say that.
So, go ahead.
I gotta say.
Four-time NBA champion.
Okay, so this is his 4th championship. Okay, so wasn't his first. Was not his first. He already had 3 going in, and by all accounts, his legacy has already been settled. Like, we know, and we don't dispute what Steph Curry is. He's probably the greatest spot-up shooter of all time.
The only thing I'll say about that, Z, is if he loses the 2022 NBA Finals, right? That's supposed to be, this is after KD left, right? KD left for this one, right?
Yeah.
So this was, okay, we're back to just being the Warriors again, right? And it's like, well, you won 2, and then you won 1 with KD, right? But this 4th one, that really put the stamp on him. That put him into a different category, right? Because there are some people now that have him in their top 5 player of all time. Like, he's in their top 5 because of that, right? For Giannis, it's like, yeah, it kind of puts you on the map, but I'm assuming we expect more from him, right? He should get back there. We're not going to say that's one and done for Giannis, are we? So that's my only argument is that if Curry lost that 2022 NBA Finals, I think a lot of people look at him and that team a lot differently. Where Giannis won, okay, yeah, but even if he lost it, okay, we would say, okay, he'll be back. We'll see him again, right? Because I think you would agree that Joker's 1 title, that doesn't define him, right?
No, the back-to-back MVPs do.
Right.
So that's the thing. With legacy, though, tying it to that, because what's the ultimate legacy debate that we have in the NBA? LeBron versus Jordan. So it's based on the number of championships you win. And a guy like Charles Barkley, right? What's his legacy? He didn't win shit in the NBA, right? What is his legacy as a player? Patrick Ewing, what's his legacy as a player? He didn't win shit. He didn't win. He's a great player. What's his legacy as a guy who couldn't get it done? John Stockton, Karl Malone. Didn't win shit. So, this is, It's part of it. It shouldn't be the whole thing, but it's a significant part. It's absolutely a significant part of it. And a guy that already had 3 championships, his legacy was already cemented. Now I understand that the second one or the third one was with the help of Kevin Durant.
Oh, right.
That one was about Kevin Durant's legacy. Like that was
What did that
Steph,
do for his legacy?
That was Steph Curry saying, "Come here, little buddy. We'll give you one. We'll get you one." So that's not about.
What did that
Steph
do
Curry.
for KD's what did that do for KD's legacy? That one championship
So
he got.
that really started, in my opinion, the metamorphosis into the Kevin Durant we know today. Right? The guy who's just trying to go from team to team to try and get back to that moment because he wasn't the guy. You know, he went to a team that already had the success and he was the hanger on. And I don't think deep down in his heart of heart, I think he realizes that they didn't need him to win a championship. They already had 2. So he was the cherry on the sundae.
He needed them, right?
Right. He needed them but more than right. Exactly. So it's like Ray Allen, the Heat. They needed him. They called him. The big 3 needed Ray Allen. So
LeBron knew that.
Yeah. And Giannis, I don't know what you figure he's going to get back there, but the East is passing by, man.
So you're saying it's Giannis. The 2021 championship that Giannis won meant more to Giannis's legacy than it does to Steph's. So
Absolutely,
you're pretty much
especially
saying Giannis is done.
If it's his only one, because as of right now, you are what your record says you are, and Giannis only has 1. Now, if his career ended today, and Giannis only ends up with 1. Right? He only ends up with 1. How are you regarding Giannis's career? As a disappointment? As a question of what could have been because of the back injuries? Because he and Dame Lillard just got friggin' decimated. Like, how do you view Giannis if his career were to end today? If he never stepped on the court again?
I don't really think much of him. So for me, it's whatever. It's a guy that was on a really good team and they made the best of that 1 year and they took it, you know. But my whole thing is I really, in my opinion, it was the Curry one because I think it defined him. It really changed things. You know, it put him into an upper echelon and put him into a bracket. I mean, all the Giannis win did was it brought a championship to the Bucks. I mean, it didn't. I don't think it really elevated his stature or really it changed him at all. I mean, he is who he is. You know, I think it's very impressive what he did because he didn't go to a super team and he didn't even cakewalk it. He had to beat everybody he played. He had to beat everybody he played, right? I think they played the Suns that year. It was a tough team. He was no cakewalk, so he definitely earned it. But it's almost, you know what? It's all. I don't want to say it's like Dirk because Dirk's win was so much more epic. And I don't even think the Dirk NBA championship defined him. I think he had a lot of other defining moments. But no,
right. I mean, but that's the thing. Like, what else do you hang your hat on if you're honest right now? Like, what do you what's your accolades? Like, what are you gonna say? I mean, that's it.
An MVP? He is an MVP, right?
We can look that up. But you're looking when you're looking at Steph, you had so many other accolades. You had so many other, bright spots. Mm-hmm. And he's still, and he has a gold medal. It's even more. So Giannis has 2 MVPs. So interesting. 2 MVPs, a championship, and we still are not sure about him.
Anniversaries. Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think? So the Celtics are for sale. What do you think about Jeff Bezos throwing his hat in the ring?
Oh God, that's interesting. I mean, he has a bottomless pit of money. So,
Yeah.
I
So
don't
word
know.
on the street is it's going to cost about between $6 and $8 billion for the Celtics. And then
I believe that.
And then if that is the case, right? All the NBA owners get $400 million a pop for that new team to join the league. Yeah. But what would be his angle? What would be his angle if, like, what you want to build like Bezos Arena? Like what? Like what would be your angle for buying the Boston Celtics? Why would he want that? What does that do for him? A man who has everything and could do anything.
Well,
Why the Celtics?
Because he was denied an NFL team.
Was he really? I didn't know.
Yeah, because it was the interest in the commies. Because he's from DC, right? He bought the Washington Post. He has all that. But then Josh Harris.
Why didn't the NBA owners want him?
$400 million a pop. That's why. Like, that's more money in their pockets. You bring a bill. The name of the game is money, my friend. Always follow the money. And you have to deal with
the NBA
Jeff Bezos being a schmo.
Yeah, the NBA wants to add 2 more franchises. They're talking about possibly Mexico City, Vegas, and maybe back in Seattle. So
but you know what? That also, I mean that's great. You're definitely you're gonna explode in that regard. But they're also getting off these TNT, right? Aren't they moving to Amazon? I believe. So. I think that's the and there you go. And there it is. One hand washes the other. You get us on Amazon, we'll give you a team. That sounds nice. Sounds like an interesting little bargain. Well, sounds like a backdoor handshake agreement.
Backdoor something. Well, Fanatics Fest took place over the weekend at the Javits Center, and it was pretty insane. There's a lot of Gronk and Brady are walking around wearing each other's uniforms. There's a 40-yard dash. There was lots of autograph signings. There was lots of picture opportunities. There were different sessions where people were able to ask questions and hear Brady, Eli, Peyton, and all those people talk. So do you think Fanatics Fest will be the Comic-Con for sports?
Potentially. They do have to iron out the fact that you can't nickel and dime people for everything. Because once you get that rep, people are probably not going to come. Oh, you pay to get in. Okay. Oh, you're going to pay for an autograph. Oh, you want a picture? That's extra.
It's $50 to get in.
No, $50 to get in. That's not bad. Okay, that's not bad. Now, you want an autograph? That's more. You want a picture? That's more. You want a combo? That's more. You want to attend a Q&A? That's more. Eventually, it adds up from a financial standpoint. You end up bleeding people dry. So, you do need to, it's a good start. It was a good group of people here. Kareem was there. Tom Brady was there. Jalen Brunson was there. CM Punk was there. You had the whole do your WWE entrance. You got a video. It was cool. You definitely had some cool things going on.
Costume contest.
These festivals, and that's what it is. It's a festival. They always run the risk of pricing themselves out. Now, you sent me about a month ago. You sent me the Pizza Fest thing with Dave Portnoy, and then I looked at the tickets. Fuck me, no way, absolutely not. What was it? 200?
For
pizza.
Yeah,
for pizza. It was It was almost $300 for a ticket. Yes, you can I can eat my weight in pizza, but it's almost that's absurd. Eventually, if you don't get the prices under control, people are going to think that way too. Because it's going to be like, oh, I met Dan Marino. I met Dan Marino once before. Why am I going to meet him again? And I spent $50 to meet him the first time. Now it's $250. And even sign a football. So it's I think, at the end of the day, it's price gouging. They have to be careful about price gouging.
Yeah, so here's the problem is he he is slow. Michael Rubin, when I say he's the owner of Fanatics. He's slowly taking over the industry, right? So he started out with Fanatics, where he was just doing like autographs, but then it moved on to now he pretty much houses all merchandise for all the sports, like whether it's baseball, basketball, football. If you're ordering a jersey or if you're ordering a shirt, it's most likely being sent by Fanatics. I mean, he's got that, right? So now it seems like he's moving into the autograph arena, where now he's going to probably wind up taking over Panini. He's probably going to buy them at some point. I think he already bought Topps. And he's going to start pushing all the little guys out. Like me this weekend, I proudly went to my local card show at the Westchester County Center, where it was, I think it was
nice.
J&S was the sponsor. Got to meet Jason Isringhausen. Terrific guy.
Easy.
Fantastic. And Billy Wagner was there, and I told him, "You're the real Sandman," and he gave me a fist pound because he knows he is. Very cool. Very fun event. Mike Tyson was there. Your closer was there. What's the closer of the Mets?
Diaz.
Yep, he was there. Clyde Frazier was there. That was kind of cool.
Oh, nice.
But those shows are going to be the ones that are going to suffer, because what's going to happen is, because the money that Tom got and Peyton got and all those guys got for going to the Javits Center, you're going to have people that went to the lower shows wanting that kind of deal. The other part is like, oh, I'm going to go to the Westchester County Center, and yeah, it's $15 to get in, but I can't really get the picture I want. I got to wait online to get an autograph. All they have are cards here. But man, if I go to the Javits Center, right, where they're doing Fanatics Fest, man, there's over 80 athletes there. The photo is a real photo where I get to stand right next to the guy instead of crouching near a table. I can sit in and talk to people and ask questions. I can walk right next to Gronk or Brady. I can check out Gold Gloves. I could do a 40-yard dash. And what's going to happen is like when in about 10 years, maybe not even 10 years, about 5 years, when my son is 10 or 13 or 12, it's like, hey, let's go to the Javits Center, so that while I try to go meet Pat Mahomes, you're going to be throwing the ball through rings, or you're going to be running around with your friends, and it's going to be just a bigger and better experience than a local show. And that's the problem. It's going to be bigger and better, something that J&S and that all these other little card shows won't be able to replicate.
But just think about this for 1 second. I'm just going to interject, right? You're going to bring your two boys. You're going to your wife might want to go. You guys might want to make a day of it in the city. How much is, for a family of four, how much is that going to cost you? Like, that's the reason why a lot of families don't go to baseball games too. Like, yeah, at the base level, $50. Okay, that's $200. Okay, but the other stuff, the more, right? Because it's not just, oh, I'm gonna go in, because now you got to park, right? Now you got to do you got to eat at some point. So it really starts to add up. So you got to be wary about that a little bit.
It does, but the problem is that my son is not gonna want to go to the Westchester County Center. He's gonna want to go to the Javits Center because it's a much bigger and a much better show. Like me, I have no problem on a Wednesday night going to a Westchester Knicks game and loving every second of it. When my son is 13 or 14, he is not going to want to go to watch the Westchester Knicks. Dad, why can't we go see the New York Knicks? Why are we going to see the Westchester Knicks? You know what I mean?
We have the Knicks at home, son.
You know, that's what's going to happen. And then, not to mention, hey, Billy's going to the Javits Center this weekend. Or Johnny's going to the Javits Center this weekend. How come we can't go? Can I go with them? No, we'll go. I'll get the tickets. We'll do it. Like, that's what's going to happen. Like, the local show is going to get killed by this event. And it's sad because the little guy can't do anything. There's nothing the little guy could do. Like, for instance, this weekend, Jason Isringhausen, his autograph was free. Like it came with my entry ticket. I waited on that line. I got to talk to him about Oakland. I got to talk to him about St. Louis. Like I didn't give a fuck, right? That ain't gonna be the case. Like, and a guy like Jason Isringhausen isn't gonna go to the Javits Center either. Like his time will be up too. You know?
Right. Well, if you look at looking at the list of baseball players, right? It's not that player. You got guys like Billy Wagner. Billy Wagner's a peripheral Hall of Famer. You know,
I had a great time.
Actually, yeah.
It was awesome, and there was nobody wanted to pay for his autograph, and nobody was on his line. I felt bad for him, but you know, I got to talk to him for a couple of minutes before he left. And I'm online.
I mean,
for
he's
Jason
lucky.
Isringhausen, and the line for Jason Isringhausen was out the door. It's like, dude, he played here for like 2 years, and I started talking to everyone in line. Like, wait a minute. So Billy Wagner has more wins, more saves, lower ERA, more All-Star games, but all of you are on this line for this man? That's the real Sandman up there.
Thing. There's two things. One, he was part of Generation K. And number two, his autograph was free. So there you go. But, you know, and Billy Wagner should consider himself lucky that Philly fans and Met fans did not get on that line and pay money just to curse him out. So,
well, that's the other thing. Is like I was wait a minute. Billy Wagner was a Met. Why aren't you guys on this line? He was a Met. There was a guy I was online with. He drove all the way from Long Island to come to the show to meet Jason Isringhausen. He had 5 things that he wanted Jason Isringhausen to sign. One of which was a perfectly minted, stitched, authentic Jason Isringhausen number 44 jersey. Beautiful.
Whoa.
Had it on the hanger and in the plastic and everything. He then had a picture of Shea Stadium with Citi Field in the background that he's having all his favorite Mets sign. He had him sign that too. His rookie card. He had Jason Isringhausen's rookie card, and he's taking all this shit out, getting it all signed, and Billy Wagner's just sitting there just shaking his head, watching this all happen. I'm like, Billy, how is this happening? I want to be on your line. I just don't want to pay the $50, Bill. Can we go outside? Can you sign in the parking lot? No, but next time I'm definitely getting Billy Wagner's signature because I have Mariano's signature where it says exit Sandman. So I want to get Billy Wagner to sign enter Sandman because he started using that in 1996 and Mo didn't start using it until 1999. So, how about that? But I was very close to. I wanted to get a picture with Tyson. I thought it would have been cool. John Starks was there too. I thought it would have been cool because
nice.
He's the heavyweight champion of the world at one time. I mean, it's really cool. But a lot of people were trying to get his picture, and I didn't feel like waiting that long. And that's the other thing. I heard the Fanatics thing went faster. They were able to move people quicker. There was a better system in play, but I think at some
Tyson
point,
also double dipped. He was at both. So it also was. It was.
You know who was there on Sunday? You know who was there on Sunday at the Westchester County Center?
No,
Pete Rose.
Oh shit,
Pete Rose. He
nice.
went. So he was at Fanatics on Saturday, and then he was doing Westchester County Center on Sunday. I almost went back because I was like, man, it's Charlie Hustle, man. It's Pete Rose. I mean, and his autograph was not that expensive. Yeah. It really wasn't. It was worth it. I think it was. I want to say it was $149, $150.
Oh, that's not bad for Pete Rose.
Just to talk baseball.
Yeah.
Just to talk baseball with him though. Like I'm more in it to take your picture with you and to talk to you about a couple of things and to get your signature. I mean, I did get the injury guys involved, which is kind of cool. But that I'm more into. Like,
I met Pete Rose. Well, I had a chance encounter with Pete Rose. I was in Vegas for my 21st birthday with my brother, and we're walking through the Caesar's Palace Mall there, and for some reason, Pete Rose has a friggin' autograph table popped up, and just like I'm not going over there, but I'm just gonna be like, I'm just gonna say something to him.
Who do you like
Pete,
today,
you should be in the Hall of Fame. I was like, Pete, you should be in the Hall of Fame. He's like, he fist pumped in the air. He's like, yeah. So yeah.
Who do you like to Pete? Who do you like to?
Five games. You got the Reds tonight.
Who you got tonight?
5-game parlay. Oh God.
What do you got? When owning a home, it's important to have heating and cooling professional available when things go wrong. Air Care Technicians is a veteran-owned HVAC company servicing the Westchester area. They are licensed to service, repair, maintenance, and replace all HVAC units. If your unit is not running properly or you would like to improve the air quality in your home, contact Air Care Technicians for a free quote. They offer same-day and emergency services for all of your needs. You can reach them at 914-315-1547. Air Care Technicians, 914-315-1547. But listen, since our last broadcast, a trade was made in the National Football League. The Falcons acquired Matthew Judon from the Patriots. The Falcons are not ready to give Judon a new contract yet, and he's okay with that. He actually said he's willing to work for it. He's like, they don't know what I've done before I got here, but I'm here now. I'm going to earn that contract now. Z, what does this do for the Hassan Reddick situation?
So remind me, what did the Jets give up to get Hassan Reddick?
I want to say they gave up a 6th round pick and a player.
Okay, so they just the Falcons just sent the 3rd round pick for Matthew Judon. So if anything, it sets the market for what they possibly could get at like the high level, right? Because you're not getting a 2nd for Hassan Reddick, you're not getting a 1st for Hassan Reddick. You are going to have to trade him. Joe Douglas, listen to us now. You are going to have to trade this man. He ain't coming.
All right, so it says the Eagles. Okay, so the Eagles traded Hassan Reddick to the New York Jets in exchange for a 2026 3rd round pick that can become a 2nd round pick if specific terms are met.
So a conditional. So those terms are not being met because he didn't show up, right? You figure that those terms are not. He didn't show up.
And apparently, the whole Jet team didn't show up today at practice because I heard that while Aaron Rodgers started a scorching 5 for 6, he finished the day 11 for 26, where the ball either hit the ground or was caught by the opposing team more than they should have, to the point where Robert Saleh almost had to cancel practice, and Aaron Rodgers talked him into letting them finish because he thought they would finish strong. And Robert Saleh's post-practice interview was just a fucking joke where he said, well, you know, that's a championship-winning defense. The fuck are you talking about, man?
What championship have they won?
What happened today? The hell are you talking about? Are you watching the same thing we're all watching? You guys look like dog shit today. Just say you look like dog shit. This guy, I'm convinced that he does not listen to his PR department, or the PR department has gone south since I was there, because he just doesn't know how to take his fucking foot out of his mouth with some of the things he says. Just say we were bad today. It's okay. It's okay for you to be honest with the media and say, we didn't have it today. It didn't look good today. It didn't go the way it was supposed to go today. But for you to tout out there and say your defense is championship and we're still growing and we're still working through things. The first fucking game is 2 weeks away. What are you working through? What are you working through? A, throw to B. B, catch the ball and run upfield. How not to lose. Right.
How not
5
to
years
lose.
of this garbage. 5 years of this garbage.
Put a wig on Robert Saleh. Put a wig on Robert Saleh. What do you have? Aaron Boone. Oh, yeah.
Well, at least Aaron Boone is in first place. Or has a share of first place. He would actually be doing a lot better if he didn't have if he didn't have Clay Holmes as his closer. He would have a lot more space between them. I will say this about Aaron Boone. You can say you don't like Aaron Boone for whatever reason, his coaching style, the way he acts, and you're probably right. But for the team he has, he's getting a lot out of garbage, really. Because Glaber Torres is terrible. DJ LeMahieu is terrible. They have 2 guys on the team worth a damn. Where the hell is Anthony Rizzo? He broke his arm like 2 months ago.
Yeah, he's not there. That's for sure. I mean, now you have Ben Rice, you have LeMahieu, like you already talked about. You already mentioned it. Now Chisholm is out. Chisholm's looking to come back, but
Jazzy.
Oh, jeez. But exactly, he just situation. But this is exactly where they're coming from. Why they're overlapping in the Venn diagram. They emphasize the positives on stupid shit. Like.
Well, we opened and closed the door really well today. I got out of my car and I didn't hurt myself. And then I walked into the building, one foot in front of the other like I always do, and I did not trip. So
we lost the game, but outside of losing the game, Clay Holmes gave up some soft contact, and we like soft contact. So it's one of those things, soft contact. Yes, yeah, exactly, soft contact. But Robert Saleh's the same way, man. Like, you put on these rose-colored fucking glasses, and just like, oh, you know what? That defense is... I'm happy about where the defense is. What about putrid fucking offense? Like, that's something that you need to address. I get it.
You're playing San Francisco in 2 weeks.
You're dead. You're dead, and you don't even know that you're dead. Are you kidding me? Now, Brock Purdy did not look good the other day without his starters, but you know what? He's going to have him week 1, so you probably should prepare for that. And you know who else they're going to have? That defense. With Nick Bosa and with Fred Warner, they're coming Fred Warner. Yeah, they're coming for Fred Warner with Fred Warner and Nick Bosa for Aaron Rodgers' old ass. So you got to be very fucking concerned with what's going to happen. And instead, you're painting this rose-colored picture that this is all going to work itself out. I mean, yeah, you get the Super Bowl on Saturday, whatever. But you know, as far as Hassan Reddick, the longer this goes, the Jets are going to realize that if they don't get rid of Hassan Reddick, all of the leverage moves on to him, especially if the defense stinks, especially if they can't get to the quarterback. So,
but see, isn't this a good way to see how a trade is supposed to work?
Yes.
Hey, we're going to trade for Matthew Judon. Hey, Matt, we're really excited to have you come here. We're not going to give you an extension right away. We're hoping that you can play into that. This is the scheme we're going to run, and this is why we think you're going to be successful. Great. I am excited to be a Falcon. I didn't really want to be here anymore anyway, but I'm going to work for the extension that I want. I'm going to prove to you that I deserve to be in Atlanta. That's the player you trade for. That's the deal you make. Not this guy who came in to take a physical on April 1st and hasn't even been in Jersey since. Disaster. Absolute disaster.
This is exactly the worst thing that could have happened for the Jets, because Matthew Judon showed up Hassan Reddick in every way. The organizations showed up the Jets in every single way, and the only thing that it did was hasten his departure, because Joe Douglas needs to come off that stance. He needs to come off that stance.
But Z, we talked about this in real time.
You
cannot tell me that the Atlanta Falcons did not call you about Hassan Reddick. You can't tell me that.
No.
You cannot tell me that the Atlanta Falcons did not call the New York Jets and say, hey, we're interested in Hassan Reddick. What are you willing to deal for him? Nothing. We're keeping him. We expect him to hear and to play. Okay.
Joe.
Okay.
Joe, you know he doesn't want to play for you, right? Doesn't matter. He's our guy.
He's our guy.
Your guy.
We're just gonna wait for him to show up one day. We're not gonna give him an extension. We're not gonna give him anything he wants. We're actually gonna continue to fine him because we have to under the collective bargaining agreement. So pretty soon he's gonna be paying for free, and he'll definitely show up. All right, Joe. Yeah. Take care. In New England, we'd like to make you trade for Matthew Judon. Great. Let's get him on the phone and see if this is a good fit. Because we're not going to need him this year. We need a hell of a lot more than him.
When you get the response you want, hang up. But
those are two different, right? Those are two different perspectives, right? It's
Yes,
two different
completely.
organizations that understand. They understand how to make a trade, number one, but they also understand their team, right? The Patriots understand their team. They understand where they are right now. Matthew Judon, while he's a fantastic defensive player, unless I team him with God, we are not going to win games this year. No. Why am I going to waste his time? Why am I going to waste my time? Let me get something in return for him and put him in a good situation. Put him in a place where he can excel. Put him in a place where he can win. And let me get some assets back. Not this whole, well, you're going to play here whether you like it or not. Joe Douglas is starting to sound like a drunk stepdad. You're going to play here because that's what I said you're going to do. I don't care. I give you an extension. I didn't say anything about an extension. You're going to play under with the contract I gave you.
Then he's not going to play.
Nope. Okay.
All right.
Because it's gotten to the point where you find him so much that I'm like, nah, man. No. Don't care. Do not care. And it's interesting because I've been watching the Hard Knocks with Saquon Barkley, and there's a point where Joe Shane is telling Saquon, hey, man, I want you to go out and test the market, because, I don't know what it is for you, and, you go get a number and come back to us, and, and maybe we can work something out. And he's like, can I have your word that you'll do that? And Saquon's like, my word on what? He's like, that you'll come back to us and tell us, the number you get. He's like, I already told you what number I want. Like, this is and it's almost like in his voice, you can say, you're wasting my time. I told you the number I want. You're telling me here you're not going to give it to me. This is over. This is over. I'm not coming back here. I'm not giving you a chance to match anything. Why would I give you a chance to match anything? I told you what I want. I want to be here. This is how much I'm going to play here for. Can you do that? I don't know. You want me to go out and find another job? And if that job is going to pay me what I want, you want me to come back and tell you what that number is? No, asshole. No, this is over.
Yeah, I mean,
so
there's
that's
no
the same thing.
Yeah, well, it's. Shane was trying to angle the NHL has with restricted free agency. Restricted free agency is the offer sheet, and
outfielder. He just
made
an absolute terrible error. They're throwing the ball all over the field right now.
Oh Jesus!
My God! Oh
God! Fantastic
triple.
A
single turned into a triple and 4 runs.
Jesus, Mary and Joseph. But what Joe Shane was talking about was restricted free agency in the NFL and in the NHL. You go out, you sign an offer sheet, you can go back to your team, and they can either say, yeah, we're going to match that, or no, via con Dios. If you guys remember way back when, the New York Rangers actually signed Steven Stamkos to an offer sheet. At which point, the Lightning were like, fuck no, we're not losing Steven Stamkos. Fuck no. So...
To the Rangers? Fuck no.
To the Rangers. Yeah, exactly. So that's kind of what Joe Shane wanted. Now, that's not how it works because we have unrestricted free agency where you can go wherever the fuck you please. And that's kind of the situation here. Hassan Reddick is under contract, so he cannot go wherever the fuck he pleases. He can go home and like it. Is that what's kind of, he can go to Foreign Park or he can go home and like it. Those are his two options right now. Because for some reason, Joe Douglas has decided that we're hanging on to this guy. This guy doesn't want to be here too fucking bad.
He's a winner.
God damn it. We're going to keep him here until he changes his mind. So, what's that going to be?
Get fired. Once I get fired, that'd be great. Joe gets fired. Robert Saleh gets fired. Hassan Reddick walks through the door. All right, let's go.
Let's do this. Well, what's the dollar amount of the fines? What dollar amount does Hassan Reddick have to break? And is that what Joe Douglas is going for here? Is this war of attrition? Like, once he hits $5 million, he'll have no choice but to come to work. Like, is that what's happening?
His precious little field trip.
God damn, sir! I'll break him. I'll just absolutely break him, and then he'll have no choice but to play. It's just asinine. It's absolutely asinine. But you know what? The Falcons got themselves a hell of a player to pair with Grady Jarrett, and they're doing some things. They're absolutely doing some things. We haven't ordered up the NFC South. We're gonna do that prior to next week's opening kickoff. We're gonna order up the NFC South, and they're making moves. They're trying because that division's winnable. That division's winnable,
yeah, for sure.
So, the only thing they got to worry about is Raheem Morris and saying that Michael Penix has done all he needs to do. But Raheem and Michael Penix. What are you gonna do?
Anyways, fantasy football drafts be starting up next week. I know I've got 2 next week. So Z, who do you like this year? Who's your sleeper, and who should people stay away from?
Well, I don't know if anybody's gonna draft Daniel Jones, but you definitely stay away from Daniel Jones. That seems to be stay away, wide away, away.
Jones.
Now, I'm not too keen on Dak. Like, he had such a high year last year, you expect a drop off. You went from leading the league into interceptions to leading the league in touchdowns, and then down we go again. That's going to be the case. As far as rookies go, you got to like Xavier Worthy. Just because he's playing with Patrick Mahomes, he's going to absorb whatever mojo they got going on in Kansas City. And I think it's going to be a good pairing with that. If you're looking at... I'm intrigued by Bo Nix. I'm very intrigued by that. I'm hearing positive things. I'm hearing positive things out of Broncos camp. Now, they're also saying positive things about Zach Wilson. So I don't know. Like, there could be a lot of positivity coming out of Broncos camp. But you know what? Bo Nix has an arm. Bo Nix has a good arm. He's got a good coach. The cupboard's not totally bare. So they definitely can do... They can do some things. I personally wouldn't draft Caleb Williams as my QB1. I want to see a little bit before I decide to do that. I'm very hesitant about that. Yes, he's showing off in preseason. When the lights are on bright and you're playing the best of the best, that's when we know what's up, right? Wiseman once said, you're playing guys who are going to be bagging groceries in a couple weeks. That's the fact of the matter. So when it's real competition, let me know. Do not draft any Pittsburgh Steelers offensive player except for the running backs. Don't take Russ. Don't take Fields. Don't take any wide receiver they got because it's not going to be pretty. Don't take Freiermuth. Sorry, like you, Pat, you're a good player. I can't trust you this year because I don't know who's throwing you the football.
Friend of the program.
Yep, friend of the program. Give me Warren. Give me Najee Harris. I'm good. But other than that, all your standard stuff. Is Marvin Harrison going to live up to the hype, especially with Kyler Murray as his quarterback? I'd be willing to take a flyer on it. Is he going to be my wide receiver 1? I might have to draft him that high, but I don't know if that's the case. But, I'm kind of also souring a little bit on Justin Jefferson, not because of him, but because of Sam Darnold throwing him the football. It's not Kirk Cousins. It's not going to be J.J. McCarthy. I expect a little bit of a backslide from Justin Jefferson, and it's by no fault of his own. So, I'm cautiously optimistic, and I'm tempering my expectations on some really damn good players. And like Josh Allen, a prime example. Who's he throwing the football to? Right, who's he throwing the football to? And Joe Brady likes to run the football. Keon Coleman. Okay. Who else? Kincaid and Schultz.
Yep. Knox.
Dawson Knox. Wrong guy. Wrong guy with a really rednecky sounding name. Dawson Knox. Sorry, Dawson. So that's not on Diggs. It's not what he had. There's a little bit of a slide there. And it worries me a little bit.
For me, I got to get a quarterback that runs this year. Contrary to you, I'm interested in Fields if he becomes the starter there. I'm interested in Caleb Williams. I'm interested in Jaden Daniels because they're runners. I can get him on the cheap. Probably could get him at the end of the draft. I don't want to overpay for my quarterback, but I got to get a guy that runs. One of the guys that I am down on this year is Hurts. And I'm down on him because I would assume they got Saquon Barkley to take on the goal line carries. I can't imagine them getting down to the goal line and them just running the ball with Hurts. And what did you get Saquon Barkley for? So that's one of the guys I'm down on. As far as like who am I really high on and who I really want, I mean, if you get a top 5 pick, I mean, you want Tyreek Hill, you want CeeDee Lamb. I wouldn't worry too much about the holdout. Dallas will eventually pay him.
You really taking CeeDee Lamb in the first round, top 5?
Oh yeah.
You're really doing that?
Oh yeah, he's really good. He's good. He's really good. I also like Jamar Chase. I'm not really worried about him holding out either. Running backs are tough because running backs get hurt. I'm okay with Love, and I'm okay with Bijan Robinson. I'm okay with them, but I'm also okay waiting. I'm also okay waiting into the 3rd and 4th round to take a Mixon or to take a Cook.
Eckler. Eckler in Washington could be interesting.
Could be, but I like Brian Robinson later on in the draft in the 8th or 9th round because I just like him. I think he's a better running back. I think he's a better player. Eckler really shit the bed last year. He just played like dog shit.
Yeah, it's the Chargers, though. That's what they do.
I like Keenan Allen. I like Mike Evans. I know those are legacy guys, but Mike Evans has put up 1,000 yards every year he's been in the league. Keenan Allen, I think, was the number 15 wide receiver last year. That's pretty decent for where he's getting drafted. Wow, the Braves beat the Phillies. I don't know how they did that. So those are the guys I like. And like I said, those are the people I'm trying to stay away from. And the sleeper, the worthy kid from Kansas City. It looks like he's going to be the deep ball guy. It looks like that's going to be pretty explosive. It's kind of a sleeper, but it's kind of not. I think Kyler Murray's going to have a sneaky good year. You could get him on the cheap in like the 6th or the 7th round. I really like Jordan Love. He's probably going to go undrafted. I think he's going to have a good year. The guy Chase Brown, running back on the Bengals, he's going to be backing up. Moss. Moss is going to get hurt. He gets hurt every year.
Yeah, I think
Chase Brown's a good one. So draft responsibly.
Absolutely draft responsibly.
Need some last-minute fantasy football advice? Then the boys at the Fade Route have you covered. Check out Red Light, Green Light 1, 2, 3 with D and Z every NFL Sunday, noon Eastern during the regular season. D and I give you our top 1, 2, 3 fantasy starts or green lights, and our top 1, 2, 3 fantasy sits or red lights. That's Red Light, Green Light 1, 2, 3 with D and Z every NFL Sunday, noon Eastern during the regular season. That's Red Light, Green Light 1, 2, 3 with D and Z.
College football is back this weekend. We're starting our run of football until 2025. Starts this weekend. No Saban this year. No Lincoln Riley. No Saban. Lincoln Riley has something to prove this year. Shandor Sanders is going for the Heisman. So what are you expecting from college football this year?
Well, Colorado's already a fucking joke. Like they're already like they're putting their Instagram handles on their practice jerseys during camp. It's just a clown show.
That's a good idea. I like that.
It's already begun.
You're in mid-season form. You're already in mid-season form.
Dion, Coach Prime, you're already there, my friend. Mike Gundy's already all angry white man, and he's talking about all the NILs and such. Oh my god! Now they have a QR code on the back of the helmet. Like, hold still, damn it! I'm taking a picture. Hold still. But the NIL
I don't know if it's real, but I saw like all the starters on all the scholarship players on Utah's football team got new pickups I don't know how true that is. I just saw it before we came on the show.
God damn. Like, the door has been kicked open, right? Like, this is the world we live in right now. And this is the insanity of it all. You had the death of the Pac-12 last year. You had the radical realignment. Like, how is this going to affect play? At the end of the day, I don't think it will. I think the SEC is still head and shoulders above everybody. I think there's still, you're just rearranging the deck chairs on the Titanic. Everybody who's worth their salt plays in the SEC. Everybody else is playing for second place. Now, I'm interested to see how a team like USC handles coming east, going all over the place. I want to see that. I want to see how UCLA handles that. I want to see how Rutgers does going the other way. Like, I want to see how these things kind of, happen, because we're in uncharted territory. Talent-wise, I firmly expect the teams that we think of as power perennials to be there, right? I expect Clemson to be good. I expect Alabama to be good. I expect Georgia to be good. Michigan, I don't know what to expect now that Coach Harbaugh's gone. Yet the talent is there, but are they going to be able to sustain that? I don't know. We're going to find out. But at the end of the day, like, it's the SEC and it's everybody else, and that really hasn't changed. All that's really changed is what table you're sitting at.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's going to be the Heisman watch. I'm counting on Shandor Sanders to get it done. I also want to see Georgia. I want to see Georgia really stomp their way through the SEC, because Nick Saban's not at Alabama anymore, and I really just don't believe in any of the other teams in the SEC. And I want to see how Dabo Swinney does. We haven't heard from him in a while. And see if he can get Clemson back on the map, because honestly, it seems like their nil money is not as good as everybody else's nil money.
Well, no, it's not. And that's the thing. Like, Clemson doesn't have the deep football legacy that like an Alabama does. Well, not many other schools do, right? Alabama, Notre Dame, it's a small handful that have that deep of a legacy. A lot of Alabama. But you know what? Clemson, Dabo's got his own issues because he's been wrestling with the NIL. Like, he has been anti-NIL. Somebody better get to him and say, hey, dude, do you want to win or not? If you want to win, we're going to have to pay some of these guys.
Nikki Haley, Clemson alum. Brian Dawkins, Horace Grant. Wow. Dolph Lundgren. All right.
All right. Okay. We got something. Dolph Lundgren? I must break you. Like, wait a sec. What? I must break you. Ivan Drago went to Clemson, ladies and gentlemen. That's awesome. But, yeah, it's like you can't be in this NIL Brave New World and then rally against it. Like, you can't cut off your nose to spite your face here, because at the end of the day, you're going to be out on your ass, and somebody else will embrace that change, and somebody will bring Clemson back. So Dabo, I'm interested to see, like, is he going to finally kind of get off his soapbox, get off his high horse, and participate? So that's an interesting one, because Saban, as much as he was, old man yelling at the cloud, he still did it. Like, he understood that that's how he was going to get his championship. That's how he was going to get good. He was going to have to buy players over the table this time. So now that it's even more dysregulated, that is when Saban decided to get the hell out. And I really think that DeBoer is in for a world of hurt in Alabama. They're talented enough to be good. Been cast a very large shadow. In college, in the pros, he's replaceable. But in college, Nick Saban is very hard to replace. Just because you change the office and you make it more player friendly, you make it brighter, and you make it more inviting, doesn't necessarily mean it's better. Right? Nick Saban is one of the 5 greatest college football coaches of all time.
Okay.
You can't really argue that. You got to put him up there, right? Bobby Bowden, Bear Bryant, maybe 3. Maybe you could put Saban at 3, depending on how you feel about Bobby Bowden. So, you decide. You decide what your list is, but he's up there in that upper echelon. But Kalen DeBoer he's in for a rough one this year. But a lot of teams are in for a rough one this year. And it feels unfair to pencil Georgia in to the national championship already, but they're an NFL program. They run it like that. And they're a perennial contender. Kirby Smart has them where everybody needs to be. Right? They're always impeccably coached. They're talented as hell, and it's going to be very difficult for another team to unseat the Georgia Bulldogs for a good period of time to come.
You can't help but smile when you see a balloon. PopstarsBalloons.com offers spectacular balloon decor for all of life's events, specializing in custom balloon creations and installations for private events, corporate and school functions, photo shoots, brand events, and fundraisers. Led by certified balloon artists, the Popstars Balloon team shape balloons into custom works of art. Popstar Balloons provides full concept balloon design, build and installation services, as well as pre-assembled decor pieces available for pickup or delivery. Popstar Balloons is a woman-owned, small family business focused on providing professional balloon services using only high-quality, 100% biodegradable natural latex balloons made in the U.S. and Italy. They consistently prioritize the safest use and handling of balloons in a sustainable and responsible manner. Popstars Balloons is located in Westchester County, New York, but likes to party at events throughout New York City, Connecticut, Long Island, and New Jersey. Popstars Balloons can also accommodate balloon decor services for destination events. No event too big, no event too small, and their custom personalization service is the perfect touch. They also offer a full line of event decor options like backdrop, prop rentals, tablescapes, dessert table setups, custom signs, and they always deliver with a smile. Whether you're looking for gift balloons, classic decor, or large-scale design for a big impact, Popstars Balloons will create the perfect decor for your theme, vibe, and space. So if you have an idea in mind or need inspiration, Popstars Balloons decor will be the cutting edge and spectacular. Visit popstarballoons.com to pop your next event.
It's the In Route, where friends of the show get a special segment with us. Want to be part of the action? Want to be the newest member of the In Crowd? Well, you know what to do. Hit us up, faderoutemail@gmail.com, or slide in our DMs on IG at FadeRoutePodcast, or drop us a line on X at FadeRouteDNZ, and you could be next.
Joining us on the In Route today, we have owner and president of the Agora Men's Social Club in Larchmont, Mr. Vincent Brusco. Thanks for coming on, Vin.
Thanks for having me, guys. It's weird to hear that. Like when people discuss you being an owner of a business or something that was pulled out of the ether and you brought into 3D reality, it's kind of weird to hear sometimes.
Yeah, it's surreal, right?
Yeah.
You made it happen, though. That's something in itself. But listen, we'll start you off with this. Along with being the owner and operator of the social club, you are also active in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. So can you tell our viewers about BJJ and how you got into it?
Yeah, so I've been training Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu for 7 years now. I'm a purple belt under Igor Gracie. If you're going to get a black belt, if we're in the pursuit of a black belt, no one better than a Gracie. So my dad's trained Japanese Jiu-Jitsu for 40-some-odd years. He's in the Martial Arts Hall of Fame. He's a Shihan. And they're very different in regards to the actual tactical approach to it. And one of his students, I bumped into one of his students and I said, hey, listen, I think I'm going to sign up for Japanese Jiu-Jitsu. And this gentleman's a black belt in both. And he's like, no, sign up for Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I was like, nah, I think I'm going to do Japanese. Like, I'm telling you, sign up for Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. It's so addicting. You're going to love it. And I knew 2 other guys that did it. I reached out to them like, dude, you would love it. It's such a rabbit hole. I'm a big seeker of depth. So I'm all about going down rabbit holes and seeing where things take me. And I was doing CrossFit pretty regularly at the time, and I was in good shape. And I went and just, stepped into the unknown, which I think is such an important part of any journey you go on is the discomfort. And I stepped into the academy. I said, hey, I want to sign up for a class. And the professor at the time was still there. He was probably 156 pounds. He's like, yeah, come back and we'll set up a class. I was like, all right, cool. So we did private, and he mounted me. He got into full mount, and I was probably 183 with maybe, single-digit body fat. So I was in good shape, and I couldn't move.
Wow.
I was helpless, and I realized I was like, oh, I don't know how to protect myself. Like, I don't know how to do. If I get into a fight, I think I would know what to do, but I really wouldn't. And in that moment, I was super humbled, and I was like, yeah, I have to do this. And it's funny because, you wear the gi, and we were doing warm-ups and running around and doing the warm-up, and I was like tired. And I was like, I'm not in this type of shape. I'm in like CrossFit shape, but I'm not in jiu-jitsu shape. So it just becomes a super addicting. I did it when I was 7 years ago, so I was 33 when I started, and it gave me this real sense of confidence that I never had in my life. And I think that's the big takeaway from it. It opens up so many opportunities, but for me, it provides such an avenue of confidence, and it's a great workout no matter what. But for me, it's really about the headiness, the thinking element, the human chess element of it, and then obviously the rabbit hole that it provides.
No, totally.
How often do you do it?
So it's funny. So my wife's a teacher, so in the summer I can get in 3-4 days a week. But in the school year, I'm going maybe once or twice a week.
Okay.
It doesn't feel like it never feels like it's enough. I jokingly say like all my other pursuits of Agora and the coaching that I do are all just so I can have more time to do jiu-jitsu because it is that intimidating.
Yeah. Wow. Well, the Olympics wrapped last week, and while they have amateur wrestling and judo, they don't have Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Would you like to see it added as an Olympic event?
Yes and no. Yes, in the sense that I think that if you take wrestling and judo, you kind of have jiu-jitsu in a sense, minus some of the submission stuff. So in that regard, it seems like it'd be a natural progression, and obviously it's so well renowned, and it's world. Obviously, there's competitions throughout the entire world, but there is something to it that it's not. I think that there's so many amazing competitions at ADCC and IBJJ, and there's just so many amazing competition networks that it almost feels like punk rock that it's not. So yes, in the sense that obviously on that scale, you're going to see the best of the best of the best, which you've kind of already seen a lot of these competitions. But I think there's also something about it being kind of alt and punk rock that makes it kind of cool that's not in the Olympics.
Makes it kind of special, right?
Yeah.
Well, 2 years ago, Tom Hardy secretly entered a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu tournament and made all of his opponents submit. If you were staring at Tom Hardy on the other side of the mat, how would you attack him?
It's funny. That scene in Batman. You know exactly what I'm talking about. When he talks about the shadows, him owning the shadow. I could go word for word with that.
I was
molded by it. Born in it. Molded. I didn't see light until I was already a man. I think a big part of jiu-jitsu is the idea that you compete against so many different people, different sizes, different weights, different capabilities, different skill sets, and you really just don't know when the other person is gonna offer you an opportunity to capitalize on. So I think that, I've competed in 2 tournaments. When I first signed up, I wanted to do 1 per belt. So I did 1 at white belt, and I did 1 at blue belt. And I recently, last year I got my purple belt. So I will do 1 at purple belt at some point whenever I feel compelled to do it. Competing is very different. It really sucks you out of reality and into like this vortex, and you're it's like so surreal. It's bizarre. It's such a different experience than just rolling. Your adrenaline's pumping, like you're tired in a completely different way. But I would just approach them to the best of my ability and the limited skill set that I have. And there's so many amazing people that do. And Mario Lopez is an avid jiu-jitsu guy. Tom Hardy, Keanu Reeves. There's so many people that have, Anthony Bourdain was a big jiu-jitsu guy.
Yeah, a lot of famous people are getting into
Rogan.
it. And
Joe Rogan obviously being probably the biggest advocate outside of actual jiu-jitsu practitioners that do it for a profession.
It's wild that you mentioned that too. Like the one that strikes me that the biggest celebrity jiu-jitsu practitioner, Al fucking Bundy. Like Ed O'Neill is a friggin'
Ed O'Neill.
It's unbelievable to me. But like you mentioned, you recently started Agora Social Club in Larchmont. So what made you decide to pursue this? Like when you woke up one day and decided, I want to start a social club. Why?
I guess, somewhat. So 6 years ago, a buddy of mine was going through a series of events that was just very unfortunate for him. And we would talk pretty much every single day. And one day he called me up and said, hey, you got to start a men's group. And I was like, okay, sure. I don't know what that looks. I know of men's groups. I never facilitated one. But sure, let's see what that looks like. So I reached out to everybody I knew that I had bigger conversations with, not just the water cooler stuff, but bigger conversations, a little bit more, a little bit deeper. And to my surprise, about 24 guys showed up to the first Council of Dudes meeting.
Wow.
And it's funny because in that first meeting when I was pulling to get coffee, and that voice inside my head was like, just cancel. You don't know what you're doing. You're going to embarrass yourself. You have to cancel this. This is not going to go well. And in that moment, I realized it was like that fear that comes up in any new pursuit that we go on, any journey we go on. There's always going to be that fear trying to keep you small. So that was 6 years ago, and we did it graciously at coffee shops and on Zoom meetings during COVID, and we did it in apartment building kind of common areas. And over the last 4 years, I've been saying, in doing that work, and I have my life coaching certification. I've been saying guys need a place that's, stripped of ego, that isn't jiu-jitsu, that isn't the gym, there's a comparison narrative that I fall victim to very often. I'll look at that guy and that guy's bigger, that guy looks more whatever it is, So I just wanted to create a place where guys can go and let their guard down a little bit. We do monthly men's group meetings, we do monthly breath work. It is a key fob access, so members do have access to this space on their own accord, so they can come and work from here. They can just grab a coffee. We have a extensive take a book, leave a book library. So there is this kind of community element to it, but there's also kind of the coaching and the men's group stuff that really brought it home for me. And I wanted to give it a home. I wanted to not just be kind of this vagabond nomad journeying through different places, because I was always on someone else's schedule. Right. And I couldn't really own it to the way I wanted to. So I kind of just put it down and put it out there. And four mantras kind of came up for me as I was doing it. And the first one was, on the journey, it was like, don't lose your dinosaur. Like this idea came to me, and I think we lose that as adults, like this novelty. I think kids have that beauty of just approaching things head on. And then the other ones was the magic is real, because, God or whatever you want to call it starts to show you these signs of things that confirm what you're thinking, right? There were so many serendipities when I first started thinking of Agora. People just saying things or other things that would come up. I was like, oh shit, this is a real thing. Like this is real. The third was follow the golden thread, which is a longer story, but that's that feeling that you get, that you can't really put words into, that pulls you. It's not forceful. It's a flow-based kind of driven mission almost. And the last is, from, obviously Field of Dreams, if you build it, they will come. Just knowing that if you put in the work up front and you show up to do the work, the results, although maybe not in your time frame, the results will come through.
Definitely. Now, there are some stigmas that are attached with social clubs and certain impressions. So, the general idea, like people think that social clubs are for retirees or single guys that don't have any friends, or being an exclusive club, people hear exclusive and they think exclusionary. Like certain people are not welcome if only a certain group of people is welcome. Is there something truly at Agora for everyone? And what would you say to the people who are speaking about the exclusive equals exclusionary?
So it's a great question. It's funny when you tell people you're in a social club, they instantly think of cigars and whiskey and, girls and that type of stuff. Poker, card games. This has none of that. There are guys who come into the men's group who are through the recovery program. There's no TVs in here. There's no wings. There's no Sunday football. This is for gentlemen. This is a thing for guys who want to grow and develop to be better men, better husbands, better brothers, better fathers, better sons, contributors to the community. So in that sense, it's not for everybody. There are guys that just want to stay complacent and stay where they are in their rut of life, and that's okay. I'm not against people being comfortable. But there is something to be said about leaving your comfort zone, being vulnerable with guys that you've never met before, and putting yourself in uncomfortable situations, being around guys that you've never shared, intimate things about yourself, and being vulnerable. So in one sense, it is for everybody because everybody is welcome to walk through the door. And, we obviously are trying to also, build a community around like-minded individuals who are about growth and wellness in mind, body, and spirit. We have, we did 5K Sundays throughout August. We do monthly ruck walks because, in my experience, it's been a mind, body, spirit. When those things start to dial on the same frequency, you want to show up and be better. So when I'm eating right, if I'm doing a lot of jiu-jitsu, I don't want to eat like shit because I don't want to perform poorly at jiu-jitsu, and I have a lot of clarity. And therefore, my mind, I'm thinking better. I'm responding to life versus reacting to it. So there is something for everybody, but I think that something is a humanistic connection and not as an actual tangible space.
That's fair. I mean, you come together, but you're also you said it's the exchange of ideas. Yeah, totally. So we will get you out here on this one, Ben. You're the president of Agora Social Club. So what events do you have going on? How can someone become a member? And what do you see for the future? Do you see expansion? Do you see what do you pie in the sky? What's your vision?
Yeah. So the big vision is a one-stop shop for like-minded guys to go to become better versions of themselves and to live more authentically. And I think that's a big part of my personal mission or my personal journey is to provide guys with entertainment, space, and insight and perspective to help them find their own golden thread. And this is just the tangible brick and mortar location for that, to bring that out of men. My bigger version of this is having a facility that offers a large coffee bar, workout, a jiu-jitsu mat for sure, community workspace, some type of gym, cold plunge, sauna, some physical therapy treatments. For me as a father, a husband, having a full-time job, doing all these hobbies. If I get one more hobby, my wife would probably fucking kill me. But, having all these different hobbies, I'm going to this place, I'm stopping here, I'm working here. So the idea is to create one space for guys to go to get everything they need to get done throughout the course of a day, and have multiple locations. I know therapists and coaches in different states, so I want to be able to also offer that type of service through these locations because I think most men I have quotes all over the walls here, but one of my favorite is by Henry David Thoreau, and it's "The massive men lead lives of quiet desperation." And I truly believe that most men do live this life of just, somber silence. And when you hear the suicide rates and you hear all these things that happen amongst men, it kind of becomes hard not to do something about that. So I want it to be a place where guys can go, and it's a one-stop shop, multiple locations. You're traveling out of town and you're stopping in Austin, Texas, and you know that you could, swipe your card and you're going to be surrounded by guys that are all on the level that you're on, having the same conversations. You're going to be having jiu-jitsu affiliates. You're going to be being able to get in your workout, get in your sauna, your plunge, get some work done, and just be surrounded by like-minded people.
Well, that's quite the vision and quite the future that Agora Social Club has moving forward. And Vinny Brusco, thank you for coming on, brother. Thank you for sharing that with us. How can people get in touch with you? What are the socials? And plug on away.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you guys so much for having me. Anytime I get to share this story, it means a lot to me, and I really appreciate it, and I enjoy what you guys are doing. I'm not the biggest sports guy, but I appreciate you guys bringing me on and having this conversation because, again, sports are such a great outlet for a lot of guys, and I just really appreciate you guys having me on. Socials are going to be at Vinny Brusco on Instagram. It's Agora_Westchester and AgoraSocialClub.com, and I offer a 7-day free trial. Events, we have, again, 5Ks are coming up throughout the fall as well on Sundays. We have a speaker series that's going to get started up in the fall as well. We have monthly breathwork sessions, monthly men's groups, and just a lot more coming down the pipeline. Just further connections. We have affiliates with jiu-jitsu and sensory deprivation and CrossFit, physical therapists. So there's a lot to offer. So you can just head on over to AgoraSocialClub.com, become a member, 7-day free trial. You get to test that out a little bit. And then there's 3 packages: the man, the myth, the legend, based off of what you think would help you become the best version of yourself.
Awesome. So thank you for coming on, brother. And hopefully we will catch you again down the line.
Absolutely. Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it.
You got it. And if you want to be the next member of the In Crowd, hit us up, faderoutemail@gmail.com, or slide in our DMs on IG at Fade Route Podcast, or drop us a line on X at Fade Route DNZ, and you can be the next guest on the In Route.
Your favorite podcast has its own merch line now. Go to the Fade Store with DNZ.com today and check out our releases in apparel, accessories, drinkware, and more. Ever wanted an Alleged Superstar t-shirt? We got those. You want some yoga pants? We got those too. And we're not done yet. We have a lot of exciting collaborations and new products on the way. But check out what we have now at the Fade Store with DNZ.com. That's the Fade Store with DNZ.com. Who's the best of the worst this week in sports? The Fade Store presents the Alleged Superstar of the Week Award.
All right, boys and girls, you know what time it is. It's time for the Alleged Superstar of the Week. You know how it goes. We put up a poll on our X account at FadeRouteDNZ and on our Instagram poll at FadeRoute Podcast, and you vote. And you vote, and you vote, and you vote. And the winner of said vote gets a shout out on this here show and takes on the coveted ass trophy. And do you know who took home the coveted ass trophy last week, D? That would be Ray Gunn.
No.
Ray Gunn? Who the hell's Ray Gunn? The Australian breakdancer who is in deep shit because now people are, dude. Like, I'm not kidding. They're investigating her for multiple levels of fraud. Like, they tasked her with making the breakdancing team, but then she didn't allow some people to participate. She hired her husband as the coach, but she rigged the judging. This is some corrupt shit right here. But breakdancing is one and done, and she fucked it up for everybody. Congratulations, Ray Gunn. But that was last week. This is this week. Who are your nominees for Alleged Superstar of the Week? D.
All right, first up, I've got Raheem Morris. Michael Penix did enough in 2 games in the preseason and does not need any more pro reps. What? What?
Excuse me?
What planet are you
Stand
on,
my good
Raheem? Who? What? He's done enough. Enough. Raheem Morris, you are my alleged superstar of the week. Number 2, Clay Holmes. Blew his 10th game on Sunday Night Baseball at the Little League World Series in front of a bunch of children. Most blown saves in the majors, but his team is in first place in the American League East. Clay Holmes, you are my alleged superstar of the week. And number 3, Brandon Crawford. It's kind of a sad one. Released by the Cards today. He's a 4-time Gold Glove winner, 3-time All-Star, but in 83 at-bats, he's hitting 169 with a homer and 4 RBI. That's enough to get you fired, Brandon. Brandon Crawford, you are my alleged superstar of the week. What do you got, Z?
All great choices. I mean, Clay Holmes, you can't really, you can't argue that. It's inexcusable.
He's bound to win.
Do you have the most damning statistic? This is the first Yankee closer with 10 or more blown saves since 1987. Mr. Dave Righetti. So, you're reaching way back. You are reaching way back on the last time a Yankee closer was so terrible. I'm going to start with Yerson Mosquera. Who? Well, he plays for the Wolverhampton Wanderers. He plays for the Wolves in the Premier League. And they started their season against Arsenal. Okay, this is going to be a tough challenge already. In about the 83rd minute, Gabriel Jesus, one of the talented Arsenal strikers, has to tie his cleat, so he bends over to tie his cleat. Mosquera walks over, oil checks Gabriel Jesus on the field. Literally goes, sticks his hand, cups his butt, and then just kind of pulls up. Jesus, understandably so, stands up, it's like, what the fuck just happened? Sees him and shoves him to the ground. Shoves Mosquera right to the ground. You'll never guess who got the yellow card. Not the guy sticking his hand up another man's ass. No, that was not the case. Jesus for shoving him. Earlier in the match, Mosquera also attempted to choke Kai Havertz. What the fuck? What is going on here? What is happening? May I also mention that this was Yerson Mosquera's first ever career match in Premier League soccer. Buddy, you keep playing like that, it's going to be your last. Yerson Mosquera, you are my alleged superstar of the weeks. Number 2, the New York Jets. Hideous practice. 5 of 6 for Aaron Rodgers. Goes right down the toilet after that. And to make matters worse, you have your coach trying to find the silver lining. There is no silver lining. You played like crap. Why is Robert Saleh allergic to saying things that are true? Why does he need to put on the rose-colored glasses and accentuate the positive? Sometimes there is no positive to accentuate. Sorry. New York Jets, you are my alleged superstar of the week. And then, last but not least, I gotta go with Brian Flores. It's a bad one. So, Tua on record about his time in Miami with Coach Flo as his head coach, how Coach Flo was less than complimentary to Tua, essentially trying to break his psyche, saying that he was not good enough, that he's not the right person for the job, that he is dog shit, for lack of a better term. Tua is very public with this. Very pointed, naming names. At which point, of course, you go to Brian Flores for comment, and he doesn't deny it. He also doesn't really apologize either. Because Tua's kind of turning into a pretty good player. Funny what a little change makes and what a little positive reinforcement does. Not necessarily rose-colored glasses, but a little, just a touch of positive reinforcement. It works wonders. You know what else works wonders? Being humble enough to admit when you make a mistake. Not moments where you need to reflect as a man and say, what can I do better? Yeah, I think you know what you can do better, Coach. Coach Brian Flores, you are my alleged superstar of the week. I think we've said our piece. Go to our X account at FadeRouteDNZ and our Instagram poll at FadeRoute Podcast, and you vote, and you vote, and you vote, and you vote. And for our nominee.
You're better than that. Just do better. Just do better.
This has been the Fade Route with DNZ. Thanks for tuning in tonight. You catch our podcast on Wednesday nights on Spotify, iTunes, iHeartRadio, or wherever you listen to your podcast. So until next time, stay fade, everyone.
Time for us to run the go route. We'll talk to you next week.
Thanks for listening to this episode of our podcast. If you liked what you heard and you want to hear more, be sure to like and subscribe on your favorite podcast platform. Leave us a review, rate us 5 stars, turn on subscription notifications, and share on social media. Tell your friends and spread the word.